And if Undersecretary Edelman's charge was something of a political gift to Senator Clinton, it comes as a new poll shows her even better positioned to capitalize on it. While the senator's image with the public has improved slightly since she began running for president, her inevitability ratings are big, big, big. In the New York Times CBS News poll, more than 80% of all respondents think Clinton will probably capture the Democratic nomination, and more than 60% think she's likely to win the presidency. Now, on the flip side, her support is tentative, including with the ladies, with older and married women less likely to vote for her than younger single gals. Despite that, most of those polled, men and women, thought Senator Clinton would be an effective commander-in-chief. Joining us now, Congressional Quarterly columnist and MSNBC political analyst Craig Crawford. Good evening, Craig.
Good to see you, Allison.
Let's go to this Pentagon flap first. Undersecretary Edelman is the former aide to Vice President Cheney, as Dana mentioned. Any chance Mr. Edelman saw an opportunity to take a swipe at the opposition's leading presidential candidate, and how could he not see that this would backfire, maybe?
Well, maybe that's where he learned his social skills back when he was working for Dick Cheney. I wonder if there's a strategy here. You know, sometimes people in Washington do things and there's not actually a strategy. We shouldn't always assume there's a strategy. Many in the administration, like Edelman, going back to the early days of the war, just instinctively respond to questions, any kind of criticism as, oh, you're aiding the enemy. I think it may have just seeped out in his letter, just a little passion there that many in the administration hold. Secretary Gates' handling of this going forward, Allison, is going to be interesting because I think he might have, might be some pressure on him to admonish this particular official, because a lot of the members on the Hill, Republican and Democrat, are, if not outraged, a bit upset at this kind of language coming back in these letters. This correspondence going back and forth between the Pentagon and Capitol Hill, I've seen a lot of it that's public, even a little that's private, and it's usually very polite and very vague, and none of this kind of incendiary language.
Let's talk about the two Democratic frontrunners, both having to defend their honor today. Senator Clinton getting in a tussle this week on defense issues. We've been talking about that quite a bit. Senator Barack Obama having to respond to attacks about his stance on sex education. Now, in terms of political points, who got the better political opportunity here?
Well, I think Obama, it was unfortunate for Barack Obama that this all happened at the same time when Hillary Clinton's in a major league smackdown with the Pentagon over the biggest issue of the day, the war in Iraq. He's in the kindergarten playing sandlot with some of the Republican candidates like Mitt Romney and playing defense. You know, Democratic grassroots voters, Allison, are looking for something. They're looking for a skill set in this campaign, and that is, how do these candidates handle attacks on them from the Republican side? And I have to say, when you examine how the Clinton camp handled this business with the Pentagon letter versus how Obama got caught playing defense, explaining, trying to clarify his remarks, his remarks were mischaracterized by the Republicans, but a lot of Democrats know that will happen in the general election.
It's kind of a post-John Kerry, post-traumatic stress syndrome there.
I mean, those scars run deep. Democrats know that. They expect Republicans to pull stunts against them, and they're watching how these candidates handle that. And I think, on balance, Senator Clinton has managed to play offense against this attack on her much better than Obama did in his case with the kindergarten.
Let's talk about Mrs. Clinton in this New York Times CBS News poll. Lots of numbers, but considering Mrs. Clinton is a mature, married woman, what's the deal with her peers being tentative about her?
Yeah, it might take Oprah and a battalion of psychiatrists to figure this one out exactly, but I'll take a shot. One thing I remember is, if you go back to the '92 campaign when Hillary Clinton first came on the scene, there was that day she slammed women who bake cookies. So maybe some of the married women who still bake cookies still remember that. The older married women do have a lot more history with Hillary. Some of the baggage they might remember a little better. I've seen other polls showing that the older women are actually the less receptive they are to a woman for president.
What about the fellas? What can Senator Clinton do to bring the fellas aboard?
Well, I think getting a tussle with the Pentagon, talk about a woman in combat, that might help, showing that she can be as tough with the guys over there at the Pentagon as anyone else. That was one reason she got on the Armed Services Committee, by the way, when she first became senator, which was unusual for a freshman. I think she knew she needed to get those national security credentials for the men, and I think that's one reason she has not been drawn fully to the left on the war as much as many Democrats might like, because she is sensitive to the possibility that men would see her as too weak on defense.
Craig Crawford of Congressional Quarterly and MSNBC. Nice to see you, Craig.
Good to see you.